All right, good to be here. What a beautiful day. Just incredible weather that we're having. Any day you could be out there in shorts, and probably didn't need the hoodie today, but you got to wear the hoodie. So it was about perfect. What a wild game, and what a great win for our team over at Kent State on Saturday. Really, really proud of our guys, how we rode out the highs and lows and persevered through that game, overcame a sluggish start, overcame some setbacks in all three phases of the game. And I think a lesser character group, a group that maybe was not as bought in or confident in each other's ability to pick each other up during moments of adversity, probably would have found a way to lose that game rather than find a way to win it. So that was really good to see. I can't recall a time in almost 200 games as a head coach where we scored on 3 2-minute drives. We had 2 before the half. We had the 1 at the end of the game. And, that's something that we do work quite a bit in practice. In fact, I was just exchanging text messages with another FBS head coach about that very thing. And it takes a lot of poise, and it takes a lot of situational awareness to be able to execute in those situations. Taquan Roberson obviously didn't get off to a great start, but the last 3 quarters of that game played lights out, threw for almost 300 yards, and really got us started with his legs on a couple scrambles that went for big yards and kept the chains moving. Nick McMillan, very similar. He's played more football here now than he did all of last season coming off that injury. He dropped the ball early in the game, but then responded himself and played very well down the stretch and ended up having a big game. Great to see Chance Morrow, who's I think probably the most even-keeled guy we have in that receiving core, coming off the bench, doing his thing. And then, of course, Vic Snow with the game-winning touchdown was great to see. The most disappointing thing, I guess, on offense was following the block punt. We get great possession inside the 10-yard line and then immediately turn the ball over, where we had a chance to really seize the momentum in that game coming off that big play. We need to continue to work on our perimeter blocking. We need to continue to improve our short yardage offense. So there's plenty to do on that side of the ball, and a sense of urgency to do it. We gave up a quick score on defense early in the game, but after that really settled down and played pretty well. We did miss some tackles. We lost contain on 2 or 3 pass rushes. And we really had some untimely penalties, some correctable things, some things that I think sometimes just happen in football games. But I thought Kent State's quarterback just played lights out. I liked them going into the game. I liked their wideouts going into the game, but even more respect for those guys after the game was over. Just a lot of good playmakers, and we're certainly going to get tested by more of those this week. I would say the disappointing thing on defense, I made a decision on 4th and 2 to punt it and hopefully flip the field position and give our defense a lot of green grass behind them. And when Drennan knocked it out at the 7-yard line, I felt really, really good about that decision, figuring that we could get a stop with a 3-point lead and 93 yards behind us. But Kent proceeded to go 21 plays and march that entire 93 yards, take 12 minutes off the clock. And we had so many chances in that drive to get off the field, times when we put them off schedule and then gave up another play, times where penalties, again, assisted them moving the ball. So that was disappointing, but again, the resiliency of our players. We take the lead. We've got to go out there and play defense again to finish the game, and we force the 4 and out. I thought Marquise Cooper played perhaps his best game. Solomon Brown played a great game at safety. But some of our best players didn't quite play up to the level of expectations that we have for them. And so we've got to take a hard look at that and make sure that we're putting them in position to be successful this week. Special teams was very similar to offense and defense. I already mentioned the block punt. But on that same unit, we call it punt pressure. We had a good return. We had a chance for another really good return, and our corner didn't finish, didn't strain, didn't stay between the defender and Vic, and we end up getting shoestring tackled for a 2 or 3 yard gain that could have been, maybe a 20-yard gain there. But proud of Miles Greer on the block punt. That was really good to see. Jack Howes continues to be doing a tremendous job for us with kickoffs and field goals and PATs. Our kickoff coverage was better. We did have the muff on kickoff returns, so there's a great example. Miles Greer makes one of the big plays of the game, but then has a near catastrophe with the muff kickoff return. So that's just where we're at. We've got fabulous guys. They know they need to start better. They know they need to play with more consistency over the course of 60 minutes. They know we have a very, very strong, talented opponent coming in this weekend. So the time is right to put it all together. I was pleased with the focus out there on the practice field today. I felt like there was a little bit of a heightened sense of urgency, and we did a good job of taking the meetings and taking the meetings to the field today. So it was a good start to the week. Troy will be the first of 3 straight home games, which is highly unusual in college football. It's a norm in baseball, but in football, I can't remember any other time in my career where that's been the case. So we need to take advantage of that and get back into our routine, being here at home. Same kickoff as our last home game, and I believe the next 2 after that are also going to be 3:30 kicks. So hopefully that's good for our fan base as well to also get into that routine. Weather looks fabulous, so hopefully that'll help too. Troy is just a very, very athletic, fast, physical, run and hit type operation. I've spent a lot of my coaching years in the South, and football is just different in the South, and they look like an athletic Southern football team, whether it was my time at Memphis or my time at South Carolina or even my time at Elon when we were in the Southern Conference, and back in the day when Appalachian State and Georgia Southern were FCS teams. Those teams just had a lot of these super athletic, super impressive type players, and you look at their roster, and it's not just guys from Alabama and Mississippi and Georgia, but up into Tennessee and over into Florida. Just a lot of really impressive guys, and I have tremendous respect for the Sun Belt as a conference. I think when it comes to the Group of 5, this is a league where football is really, really important, and the teams, the schools, the institutions are very, very committed. You look at Troy, and whether it's the fact that they're averaging 25,000 at their 2 home games this year, or you look at the quality of the facilities, you look at all the imaging around their stadium and the tradition, the championships at different levels, the success that they've had in bowl games, you could see that there's a tremendous commitment from that institution to be good in football, and to be good in football every year. And I've only met Coach Parker one time, super impressed when I met him. Just seems like an incredibly good human being and a genuine guy and a good fit for an institution like that. And quite frankly, you don't leave a great assistant coaching position at a place like Notre Dame where you're going to be in the best of the best in terms of football commitment unless you feel really, really good about the opportunity, and I'm sure he absolutely did before taking that job. Their offense is very comprehensive, very sophisticated. They do a great job with multiple personnel groupings. They can pack it in and put 3 tight ends on the field. They could spread you out and put a really athletic group of receivers on the field. They'll run the quarterback. They do an excellent job with gap schemes and zone schemes. Their starting quarterback did get injured in the last game. Tucker Kilcrease, if I'm saying his name correctly, came in the Memphis game, did some good things, struggled at times, never an easy situation coming in off the bench, getting limited practice time during the week. But you go back and you watch him last year where he played about 150 snaps, and he played extremely well. This team was in a very close game out at Iowa. And he threw the ball very well, some deep shots, some intermediate throws, some quarterback runs. You watch him against Louisiana Monroe and Texas State and some of the other games that he played in last year, and he played exceptionally well. So he seems to be a mature, poised guy that spins it well, and he's also, I think, a more than capable runner. They got, when he went in the game against Memphis, they were already behind by multiple scores. So they were sort of one-dimensional, but with a week to prepare and the opportunity, to start off with a clean slate, I'm sure we're going to see a very good plan by their offense and putting him in the best possible position to be successful if he's indeed the guy that we see. And I think Kent State did some really good things against us, so there's some opportunities for Troy to see that and to see how our quarterback ran the ball against us last week and maybe pick up on some of those nuggets as well. Their running backs, Meadows and Lovett, are both very good. Meadows is averaging 90 yards a game. Lovett adds another 30. They're both put together guys, 200-pounders. The wide receivers are a very explosive group. Number 8, Taylor, 0, Mothershed, who I believe is the leading receiver. Dortch, number 5, is supposedly a 22-plus mile-an-hour guy, and it looks like it when you watch the tape. Number 7, Thomas. And then number 2, Higgins, is the slot receiver. I mentioned they play 3 tight ends. Number 14, Connor, 89, Schwartz, and 88, Worley, and they'll mix and match those guys in different personnel groupings. So they've got a lot of personnel options. You're going to see a lot of formations, shifts, motions, misdirection. So you need to do a great job with your fits on defense. And then you've also got to stay on top of these play-action passes that they can certainly send after you. I'm really impressed with their perimeter screen game, too. They come out against Clemson, get into a unique formation, start the game off with a 7 or 8 yard gain on a perimeter screen. So they're going to do a really good job of attacking you and taking what the defense gives them. Their defense presents a lot of challenges. They're only giving up 331 yards a game, and that's after playing Memphis, who's arguably one of the best group of 5 teams in the country, and Clemson. So that says a lot about this group. 134 yards a game rushing. They're a base 4 down, but they'll jump into some 3 down. They'll stem back and forth between the 2. They'll play some 2 high safeties, but they'll also get into a unique 3 high safety look where there's a sort of a middle fitter who can come down and run support. So that presents some different challenges. So whether it's the configuration of the defense, some of the looks they're giving you up front, or just the fact that they're so athletic and so sound, there's going to be some challenges there. Really like their 2 interior D linemen, 15 Robbins and Medina, number 1. Linebackers are very fluid and physical. Even going back to our summer scouting report on these guys, the linebackers really stood out, number 2 and number 7. And then number 3, Lafayette, who is their nickel, he becomes that middle safety. And, this guy looks like he could put on a jersey and play for anybody in the country. And probably has a legitimate chance at the next level. He's such a good open field tackler. And I think they're improved at corner since last year as well. They've played well on special teams. Their punter, Evan Crenshaw, has got to be one of the best in the country. As soon as I turn on the film, he reminds me of the punters we would see in the SEC. This guy is bombing 50-yarders. And sometimes you see 50-yard punts, but the punter can't control where he's putting the ball. But this guy consistently puts the ball between the numbers and the sideline where it's really, really challenging to return it. They get into a lot of multiple spread sets on their punt, so they're getting gunners down the field in coverage as well. Their kickoff guy is a 6'3" Irishman. He's only had one returned kick all year. And I was thinking about that. So this guy's from Ireland, and now he's in Troy, Alabama. So I hope he's enjoying the great Southern barbecue in lieu of corned beef. I think that's a good trade myself. Punt return, it's a mix of block and hold up. I mentioned their slot receiver, Higgins. He's their punt returner. He's shifty. He's reliable back there. So all three phases, we've got a really big challenge on our hands this week. And hopefully we can find a way to take the next step forward and figure out a way to play better in all three phases. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't think there's ever been a better time to do it. So excited about this opportunity. It's going to be a really big challenge, but I think we're all very excited about the challenge as well.
How often can you remember blocking punts in back-to-back games? How rare is that, and what does that say about how well that unit is playing right now?
It was great, and Chris Monfiletto's doing an excellent job with our special teams. Just organizationally, number one, he does a great job in the meetings and being efficient and his teaching. He's a very good communicator with our guys. And it's translating to productivity on the field. It's great to get back-to-back blocks, and anytime you're doing that, it sends a message, and I don't mean that in like a malicious way, but it sends a message that you've got to be prepared on your punt team when you play us, right? And when teams have to respect protecting the punter, they're less apt to quickly transition into coverage. You might see more condensed sets, which means there's less gunners on the field. So there's a lot of positive ripple effects from blocking a couple punts. Now, you've got to take advantage of those things too. And against St. Francis, we turned around and scored a couple plays later. In this game, we turned around and turned it over. But no, it's a good confidence builder for that unit when you could do that. And historically, we've enjoyed being aggressive. Last year there were so many moments I felt like our timing was a little bit off, or our technique was a little bit off, or maybe we just didn't have the right guy in the right spot at the right time. And it's good to see us making some progress there.
As far as Roberson, I don't know if they started playing music in the stadium, but it seemed like he got into a rhythm second, third, and fourth quarter. What's the key for the staff to kind of replicate that and even get that on the first drive of the next game?
Sure. Well, nobody challenges himself as much as Taquan does, and he puts a lot of good, honest, realistic pressure on himself to perform well. I think the biggest thing is just, and this is a challenge for me, it's been my entire life, is just showing some patience. This is a guy who is an older player, but you have to remember he saw very limited time the last couple years, and now he's getting a chance to actually go out there and play, and each week's a little bit different. How you're getting defended is a little bit different. How you match up is a little bit different. He definitely missed a couple throws earlier in that game. The interception obviously sailed, but there's a lot more to it, right? It's the receivers, and this is total coach speak, but it is really the truth, right? That there's a lot more to it in terms of everybody being in sync on offense, and that includes the protection. Our offensive line did an incredible job protecting, particularly in those last three quarters of that game, and we were in all those 2-minute drives. TQ had a lot of time to throw the ball down the field. Now, he did that first touchdown to Nick McMillan, way to hang in there and throw under duress. That was really impressive too. So I think we're seeing what he can do with his legs and his arm, and hopefully some of our receivers come out of that game with a little bit of confidence as well. And we just need to stay the course here and keep forging ahead.
You had some players beyond the listed starters, Morrow, Poyser, Gonser, all make important contributions. Please talk a little bit about those guys, but what it means to build some depth to be able to plug some guys in and have them contribute like that.
Depth is such a huge thing, and going into this season, we were optimistic about having a little bit better depth, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. And I believe that is showing up. You know, Mitch Gonser was the MAC player of the week on defense coming off the bench, and he's doing some excellent things on special teams as well. Love his physicality, love his instincts, and his role is and will continue to grow as he continues to get more and more comfortable. But he is a very instinctive player. There were 2 or 3 screens the other day where he just sniffed them out and made some big-time plays on those, and that was so good to see. Junior Poyser is among the most improved players on our team. He's always been one of the strongest guys. He's very focused. He's very determined. He's very mature. He has improved his lateral quickness significantly since we've been here, and some of that credit goes to our strength and conditioning staff as well. Junior was also our personal protector on the punt team last week, which is a huge responsibility, and it's just not something that you hand over to anybody. So very proud of him. And then Chance Morrow coming off the bench, having several big catches in that game, including a touchdown reception, and just the even-keeled nature that he brings to that receiving core is good to see. So those are 3 great stories in and of themselves, and there's certainly many more.
Coach, your 2 wins this year, from an offensive standpoint, you were able to beat St. Francis, utilizing the run effectively, rushing for over 350 yards, and then come back this past week and utilize the pass to defeat Kent State. How does that make you feel as a coach, knowing that your offense has been pretty multidimensional?
It's important that you can take what the defense has given you. It's important that you can take advantage of matchups in the game. I would like to think that we are still a run-first team that believes in running the football to achieve some form of balance and in order to play complementary football. Time of possession is a factor. You know, I mentioned earlier about Kent State having a long drive. Minnesota obviously had a long drive. So we do need to find ways to establish the run and run the ball consistently. But it's nice to see in a game where we were behind and time was of the essence that we were able to stretch the field and make some plays down the field, as well as spread it out and get the quarterback running, whether that was by design or scrambles. So, you know, baby steps, but hopefully we're moving in the right direction.
This isn't overlooking Troy, but just from a broader perspective, knowing your team and your goals for this year, what do you view as the biggest challenge for you and your staff right now?
Well, I don't think this team is quite playing to its potential yet. And so I think there's still some figuring out going on. The big emphasis today was just to come out and have a great Tuesday. And in our team meeting this morning, I talked about last week practice and some things that we need to do better as the week goes on to finish the week the right way. And I do believe that a great week of practice doesn't guarantee you a win, but it gives you a better chance to win. And it certainly puts you in a great frame of mind when it gets to game day, that you've done everything you possibly can from a preparation standpoint to give yourself a chance. And to be honest, last week, Tuesday was okay, Wednesday was okay, Thursday I wasn't real fired up. Friday's walkthrough I thought could have been better. And then we turn around and take a long bus trip and have an early kickoff. So did that impact how we played at all at Kent? I don't know. But I do think we're capable of having a better week of practice, and that's really what we're focused on right now.
whether you felt like your team listened to you last week when you told them how much better Kent was. Do you think what happened in the game now carries a little more weight when you stand up to them and today about another opponent and try to convince them what they're going into?
Well, the good news with Troy is it takes you could watch 4 clips of video in any phase, and you know your eyes are going to look like 2 fried eggs, and they're going to get your attention pretty quickly. You know, I don't make any excuses for our guys because we respect everybody we play. We try to fear no one, but we certainly respect everyone, and I think our guys knew that was an improved Kent State team, but. You know, the challenge of coaching 18 to 22-year-olds, and of course now you have some 23 and 24-year-olds too, with the nature of college football. But I guess that'll start cycling out here soon in the post-COVID world. But the challenge is always, you know, can you keep them focused on the task at hand? And you know, that was a Kent State team that we sort of had our way with. 4 games ago at the end of last season. So I don't make any excuses for our guys. I think Kent's going to go on and present some challenges for some people this year. But we've all had moments in our life where you look over the edge and hopefully don't fall off, and maybe it teaches you a little lesson or two. I say all the time that you know, it's a good thing there were no cell phones around when I was their age, because I made plenty of mistakes, and I still make mistakes every day. But those moments that you hope are teachable moments, hopefully Saturday was one of them.
It was announced earlier today that Red Murdoch was named to the All-State Good Works team. Let's talk about, you know, what Red has meant to this program and this community.
You know, what an incredible human being Red Murdoch is, and when you see those types of teams that the award winners, it's not just on the field achievements, but off the field contributions to campus and the community. I can't think of anyone more deserving than Red Murdoch. We ask our players to do one community service or campus visibility type activity every semester. So spring, summer, and even the fall, we'll try to do some of that stuff during our bye weeks and so forth. Red did 11 of those in the spring, and he's at a point as one of the leaders on our team where he's coming to us with ideas. He's pushing his teammates to do more of those things. He's just an incredible human being, and he's everything that you could ask for in terms of his commitment, his investment in this university, his investment in this football program. And we have had multiple scouts, I feel like, on almost a daily basis in here looking at him in a very, very serious way. And I think something that's being underestimated by some is how much these scouts look at loyalty. And the fact that Red's already graduated but chosen to stay here when he's had other opportunities surely to leave in this day and age and look for greener pastures. But the fact that he's stayed here, it's one of the first things that we hear from these NFL scouts, and we've even had some directors of player personnel from NFL teams come through. So it's a great honor. He represents this university incredibly well. He represents the Mid-American Conference incredibly well. I think he's playing at a high level. I think he will continue to do that, and I think he's got a legitimate chance to play at the next level with his combination of athleticism and size and instincts. So very proud of him. This will be a great opportunity. And I should add, too, that All-State and the American Football Coaches Association co-sponsor this. So that's our Coaches Association, which I've been a part of now for, I believe, 34 years. And that makes it a little bit extra special because you're talking about, you know, upwards of 10,000 coaches across the country, and there's very few honors and awards that are also supported by our Coaches Association. So that's great to see as well.
You talked about watching film about Troy, so we'd be remiss not to talk about the 2002 film Troy featuring Brad Pitt. Have you seen it? And I'm curious your thoughts.
I haven't seen that. If you're going to talk about Brad Pitt, of course, you had Fury, right? Wasn't that one? Wasn't that a Brad Pitt as well? But I can't honestly say. I know the story about Troy, but I haven't seen that movie, so I'm sorry if I'm letting you down.
I don't think a lot of people saw that movie, so.
You can never let me down, Coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all good. Thank
All
you.
right. Good stuff. Thank you.